They laughed at her tears, not knowing she'd soon decide their future. They mocked her for begging, but what if the beggar owned everything they had? Before we dive deeper, say hi from your country in the comments, and watch till the end, because what you'll witness will break you and then put you back together. The dust rises in slow clouds under her feet as she walks toward the glass tower. Her wrapper is faded, the edges frayed from too many washings. Her headscarf is tied low, hiding most of her face. In her hands, she holds a small wooden bowl, empty except for the weight of her intention. The security gate gleams in the afternoon sun. Beyond it, men in crisp suits walk through revolving doors, their phones pressed to their ears, their faces arranged in expressions of importance. She approaches slowly, each step measured, her eyes fixed on the entrance. The guard at the gate looks up. His name tag reads Emeka. His uniform is pressed but worn at the elbows. He stands straighter as she approaches, his hand moving instinctively to his belt, then relaxing when he sees her face. "Good afternoon, sir," she says quietly. Her voice is soft but clear. "I need to speak with someone from the company. Just a few minutes." Before Emeka can respond, two young men step through the gate, laughing at something on one of their phones. Toby sees her first. He's wearing a designer watch that catches the light, his shirt unbuttoned just enough to show the gold chain underneath. Chuka is beside him, slightly shorter, his hair freshly cut, his shoes so polished they could serve as mirrors. What is this one looking for?" Toby says, his voice loud enough to turn heads. He steps closer, tilting his head to examine her. "Sister, this is a business place, not a church. Go and find charity somewhere else." She doesn't move. Her eyes meet his, and for a moment something flickers in her expression. Something that makes him uncomfortable, though he doesn't know why. "I'm not asking for money," she says. "I just need to speak." "To who?" Chuka interrupts, laughing. "You want to speak to the CEO? Should we schedule you for next Tuesday?" He turns to Toby. "Guy, this woman know well. Look at her wrapper. See how she's dressed. She probably came to beg, or worse." "Or worse what?" Emeka asks, his voice low but firm. Toby waves a dismissive hand. "Security, do your job. Tell this woman to leave before she embarrasses herself more than she already has. She looks like she hasn't bathed in days." What if she's carrying disease? A small crowd has begun to gather. Office workers on their lunch break. A woman selling oranges from a wheelbarrow. Two teenage boys who should be in school. They watch with the hungry eyes of people who sense drama unfolding. She stands very still, her fingers tightening slightly around the bowl. When she speaks again, her voice is even quieter than before, but somehow it cuts through all the noise around them. "I will never beg again." The words hang in the air like smoke. She turns and walks away, her back straight, her head high despite the laughter that follows her down the street. Toby and Chuka watch her go, already forgetting her face, already moving on to their next joke. Emeka watches too, but differently. Something about the way she walked, the way she held herself despite everything, bothers him. He's seen many beggars in his 5 years working this gate. None of them walked like that. "You're too soft, Emeka," Toby says, clapping him on the shoulder hard enough to sting. "That's why you'll always be opening gates while people like us run things." They disappear into the building, their laughter echoing in the lobby. The marketplace is alive with noise and color. Mrs. Banky sits behind her tower of tomatoes, her voice carrying across 3 stalls in every direction. She's the kind of woman who knows everyone's business and isn't shy about sharing it. "You people won't believe what I saw today," she announces to no one and everyone. "That woman, the one who's been hanging around the hotel area, I saw her again. Same dirty wrapper, same lost look in her eyes. I'm telling you, something is not right with that one." The woman selling yams leans closer. What do you mean, not right? Mrs. Banky lowers her voice, which only makes it carry further. I heard she's been going to different hotels, asking for men. You know what I mean. And now she's targeting the big company people. I saw her trying to enter Okafor Industries today. Security almost called the police. Hey, several voices rise in unison. Is it not prostitution? Another woman adds. These girls of nowadays, no shame at all. Instead of finding honest work, they're looking for rich men to exploit. Some people even say she's a thief, Mrs. Banky continues, warming to her subject. Checking who to rob. Why else would someone dress like a pauper and hangs around expensive places? It doesn't make sense. The story spreads like fire through dry grass. By evening, everyone in the area knows about the suspicious woman. By the next day, security guards at 3 different hotels have been warned to watch out for her. By the end of the week, she's become a cautionary tale, a warning mothers give their daughters about falling too low. But the woman herself has disappeared. 2 weeks pass. The offices of Okafor Industries hum with their usual rhythm until the morning the email arrives. The board of directors has made a decision. Controlling shares of the company are being sold to a foreign investment group, effective immediately. Toby reads the announcement on his computer screen and feels his stomach drop. His father is on the board. His father promised him a vice president position by the end of the year. His father never mentioned anything about selling. He storms into Chuka's office without knocking. Did you see? Chuka is already on the phone, his face pale. He hangs up and nods. My uncle just called. It's real. The new CEO arrives next week. Who is it? Nobody knows. The announcement didn't say. Some offshore company bought the majority stake. Everything was done through lawyers. Toby sits down heavily. This is bad, guy. New management means new rules. What if they start actually checking our expense reports? They share a look that contains all the lunches charged to the company card, all the ghost contracts with friends' companies, all the little ways they've been skimming from the edges of their father's empire. We need to clean up, Chuka says. Fast. Emeka is mopping the lobby floor when the 2 security supervisors approach him. Their faces are serious, and they motion for him to follow them to the back office. His heart begins to pound. In 5 years, he's never been called to the back office. The older supervisor, Mr. Adeyemi, sits behind the desk. He doesn't offer Emeka a chair. We've received a complaint about you, Mr. Adeyemi says without preamble. A complaint? Sir, I don't understand. 2 weeks ago, a woman came to the gate. Young men from the company said she was harassing them, trying to get into the building. They say you allowed her access. They say you took money from her. Emeka's mouth falls open. That's not true. I never let her in. I never took anything. I just told the young men to be respectful. So you admit you interacted with her? Yes, but not like that. She asked to speak with someone. I was about to direct her to reception when those men started insulting her. I just said they should be more respectful. That's all. Mr. Adeyemi shuffles papers on his desk. The men say you've been allowing her to hang around, that she's been back multiple times. They say you're running some kind of scheme with her, letting her scope out the building. No, sir, this is wrong. I saw her once, only once, and I never... We take security very seriously here, Emeka. If you're compromised, if you're taking bribes, we can't have you on our team. I'm not compromised. Please, sir, check the cameras. Check the logs. You'll see I'm telling the truth. But Mr. Adeyemi is already shaking his head. The complaint came from the CEO's son himself. His word against yours? He stands up. Clear out your locker. You're suspended pending investigation. If the investigation confirms the complaint, you'll be terminated. The word hangs in the air like a death sentence. Terminated. Emeka feels the room spinning. He thinks of his mother in the village, depending on the money he sends every month. He thinks of his younger sister's school fees, due next week. He thinks of the staff quarters where he lives, which will be taken away if he loses this job. Sir, please, you have 1 hour to collect your things. The humiliation is public and thorough. His fellow security guards watch as he empties his locker into a plastic bag. The receptionist, who used to smile at him, looks away. Workers whisper as he walks through the lobby one last time. His uniform replaced with the old shirt and trousers he wore to his interview 5 years ago. Outside, under the same sun where he once stood watching a woman walk away with dignity, he sits on the curb and puts his head in his hands. He doesn't cry. He learned long ago that crying solves nothing, but his chest feels hollow, carved out by injustice. He stayed late countless nights. He reported theft attempts. He helped lost children find their parents. He took pride in his work, in his uniform, in being able to tell his mother he worked for Okafor Industries. And for what? For telling 2 spoiled boys to be respectful to a poor woman? A car pulls up. An elderly security guard from a neighboring building, someone Emeka knows from lunch breaks, rolls down his window. I heard what happened. Those boys are wicked, Emeka. Everyone knows you're honest. Then why didn't anyone speak up for me? The old guard looks away. Who would believe us against them? You know how it works. The rich protect the rich. Emeka stands up. He looks at the glass tower one more time, at his reflection in those expensive windows, distorted and small. Then he turns and walks away. Somewhere across the city, in a penthouse apartment that costs more than Emeka's annual salary per month, a woman stands by a floor-to-ceiling window. She's wearing a silk robe, her hair loose around her shoulders. Her phone buzzes with a message. She reads it. The test is complete. They all failed, all except the security guard. She sets the phone down and moves to the bathroom. The mirror reflects someone different from the woman who walked dusty streets 2 weeks ago. She washes her face, scrubbing away the last traces of the makeup that had aged her, dirtied her, transformed her. Her assistant, a sharp-eyed woman named Adana, enters with a tablet. The takeover is complete. The announcement will be made Monday. Your father's shares, combined with what we acquired through the shell companies, give you 73% control. The woman, Nora Okafor, turns from the mirror. Her eyes are the same eyes that met Toby's that day at the gate, but now there's no disguise to hide the intelligence behind them, the calculation, the cold anger that's been building for years. And the audit? Already underway. The preliminary findings are worse than your father suspected. Toby's father and his associates have been siphoning money for years. Ghost employees, inflated contracts, kickbacks, it's extensive. The evidence is solid, bulletproof. Nora walks to her closet. Inside are rows of expensive clothes, designer shoes, jewelry that sparkles even in the dim light. She trails her fingers over a gold gown, feeling the weight of fabric that costs more than the wrapper she wore for her test. My father built that company from nothing, she says quietly. He trusted those men to run it while I was finishing my degree abroad. He trusted them to be honorable until I was ready to take over. Her hand clenches on the gown. He died believing they were faithful stewards. But I knew something was wrong when the numbers didn't match. So I came back early. I came back to see for myself who they really were when they thought no one was watching. And now you know. Now I know. Nora pulls the gown from the closet. Schedule the welcome party for Friday night. Invite everyone. The board, the executives, all the department heads. Spare no expense. Make it grand. Adana smiles. They're going to be shocked. They should have been kinder, Nora says softly. That's all they had to do. Be kind to someone they thought was beneath them, but they couldn't even manage that. She thinks of Emeka sitting on that curb. She's had people following his situation. She knows about his suspension, his eviction notice, the way his name has been dragged through the office as a cautionary tale. The security guard who defended me, Emeka. Where is he now? Adana checks her tablet. Living with a friend, looking for work. He's applied to 4 places this week. No responses yet. Send someone to him. Tell him there's a job opportunity. Tell him to be at the Echo Hotel on Friday at 7 p.m. Make sure he has proper clothes, but don't tell him anything else. He'll be suspicious. He'll be desperate. Desperate people take chances. Nora looks at her reflection in the full-length mirror, holding the gold gown against her body. Besides, he showed integrity when it cost him everything. That's rare. That's worth rewarding. Friday arrives dressed in gold and champagne. The ballroom of the Echo Hotel has been transformed into something from a dream. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over tables, draped in white cloth. Ice sculptures melt slowly in the corner, shaped like the Okafor Industries logo. Waiters in bow ties circulate with trays of hors d'oeuvres that cost more than most people's monthly rent. The board members arrive first, their wives glittering with jewelry, their faces arranged in expressions of cautious optimism. Change is always dangerous when you've been comfortable for too long. Toby and Chuka stand near the bar, already on their second drinks. They're wearing their best suits, their most expensive watches, their most confident smiles. But underneath, they're nervous. The new CEO is supposed to arrive any moment, and no one knows anything about this person. Man or woman, young or old, Nigerian or foreign. Every rumor contradicts the last. Whoever it is, Toby says, keeping his voice low, we need to make a good impression. My father says the new owner has complete control. They could fire everyone if they wanted. Relax, guy. We're the CEO's son and the director's nephew. We're untouchable. But Toby doesn't feel untouchable. He feels like he's standing on ice that's beginning to crack beneath his feet. Across the room, Emeka stands near the entrance, feeling completely out of place. The suit they sent him is the nicest thing he's ever worn. It fits perfectly, which somehow makes him more uncomfortable. He doesn't know why he's here. The message said only that there was a job opportunity, that someone wanted to meet him, that it was important he attend. He almost didn't come. Pride nearly kept him away. But then he thought of his mother, of his sister, of the rent he owes his friend, and pride seemed like a luxury he couldn't afford. A woman approaches him. She's carrying a clipboard and wearing the brisk efficiency of event staff. Are you Emeka? He nods. Come with me, please. You'll be sitting at the VIP table. I think there's been a mistake. But she's already walking away, and he follows because he doesn't know what else to do. The room falls silent gradually, a wave of quiet spreading from the entrance inward as people notice someone arriving. The lights dim slightly, a calculated theatrical effect, and then the doors open. She enters alone. The gold gown catches every light in the room, turning her into something luminous. Her hair is swept up, revealing the elegant line of her neck, the diamond earrings that belonged to her grandmother. Her makeup is perfect, highlighting features that are both beautiful and somehow familiar in a way that makes people uncomfortable without knowing why. She moves through the room with the kind of confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you're capable of. Her heels click on the marble floor. No one speaks. No one even seems to breathe. Toby's drink slips from his hand. The glass shatters on the floor, champagne spreading like guilt across the white tablecloth. But he doesn't notice. He's staring at her face, at her eyes, at the way she holds herself. He knows those eyes. Chuka grabs his arm. Is that? No, it can't be, but it is. She reaches the center of the room, right beneath the largest chandelier, and turns in a slow circle, letting everyone see her, letting recognition dawn on the faces around her. She sees the board members realizing who she is, Chief Okafor's daughter, the one who was supposed to be studying abroad, the one they forgot about in their comfortable corruption. She sees the executives doing the math, understanding what her presence here means. She sees Toby and Chuka, their faces draining of color. When she speaks, her voice carries to every corner of the room without her having to raise it. Good evening. My name is Nora Okafor. Chief Gabriel Okafor was my father. Some of you remember me as a little girl, running through the office, playing under his desk. Some of you attended his funeral and told me how sorry you were for my loss. She pauses. But none of you looked sorry when you carved up his legacy like vultures at a carcass. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Someone drops a fork. 2 weeks ago, she continues, I stood outside the building my father built. I wore old clothes and carried an empty bowl. I wanted to see what kind of people were running his company. I wanted to see how you treated someone you thought was beneath you. Toby tries to speak, but no words come out. Some of you laughed at me. Some of you called me dirty, diseased, a thief, a prostitute. You mocked me. You told me to find real work, to go away, to stop embarrassing myself. Her eyes find Toby in the crowd. You told security I was a threat. You had me investigated like a criminal. And when one good man defended me, you destroyed his life to protect your cruelty. She walks toward the VIP table where Emeka sits, frozen in his chair. She stops beside him, and everyone in the room watches as she places her hand on his shoulder. Except this man, Emeka. He didn't know who I was. He had no reason to be kind. But when others were cruel, he spoke up. When it would have been easier to stay silent, he chose integrity. She looks down at him and her expression softens. And for that, he lost everything. Emeka looks up at her, understanding flooding his face. It was you. It was me. She turns back to the room. I own 73% of this company as of Monday. My father's shares, which he left to me in a trust, combined with additional shares I acquired through various holding companies. I am the majority shareholder. I am your new CEO, and I am going to clean house. The silence is absolute. An independent audit has been running for the past 2 weeks. The preliminary findings reveal systematic theft, fraud, embezzlement, and corruption at every level of management. The full report will be turned over to the authorities next week. She lets that sink in. But before that happens, I want you all to understand something. She walks back to the center of the room. I didn't return home to destroy you. I came back to honor my father's legacy. I came back to save the company he loved. You're the ones who destroyed yourselves. Your greed, your cruelty, your absolute certainty that you were untouchable. Her voice drops to barely above a whisper. But everyone can be touched. Everyone falls eventually. The question is whether you have enough grace left to land with dignity. She nods to Adana, who steps forward with a folder. Mr. Toby Adeleke, Mr. Chuka Okonkwo, you are both terminated effective immediately. Security will escort you out. Criminal charges may follow, depending on the full audit results. Toby finds his voice. You can't do this. My father, your father is suspended pending investigation. He'll receive due process, which is more than you gave Emeka. She turns away from him. Anyone else involved in the schemes outlined in the audit will be dealt with appropriately. Those who were merely negligent will receive warnings. Those who actively participated will be terminated. Those who broke the law will be prosecuted. Security guards, new ones not from the old company, appear at the doors. This party is over, Nora says. Thank you for coming. The ballroom empties quickly. Board members rush for the exits, their faces pale, their phones already pressed to their ears calling lawyers. Executives huddle in corners, trying to remember what they might have signed, what emails they might have sent. The waiters pack up the untouched food, the unopened champagne, the ice sculptures that have melted into formless puddles. Only Emeka remains at the VIP table, watching as Nora removes her earrings, her shoulders sagging slightly now that the performance is over. She sits down across from him, suddenly looking tired. I'm sorry I put you through that. The suspension, the eviction, I had to let it play out to see how far they would go. You could have stopped it, he says quietly. You could have revealed yourself sooner. I could have. But then I wouldn't have known who you really were. When you defended me that day, you could have been trying to impress someone you thought was watching. When you defended me in the back office, after you were accused, you could have been protecting yourself. But when you lost everything and still didn't speak against me, didn't blame me, didn't tell everyone it was my fault, that's when I knew. Knew what? That you were exactly who you appeared to be. Honest, good, rare. She slides a folder across the table. I'm making you head of security. Triple your old salary. Company car, company housing, full benefits. Your family will be taken care of. Emeka opens the folder, sees the numbers, and his hands start shaking. Why? Because my father always said the measure of a man is how he treats people who can do nothing for him. You measured up. Most people don't. She stands, collecting her earrings. The job starts Monday. Take the weekend to process everything. Move your things into the new apartment. The address is in the folder. And Emeka? Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being the kind of person who made me remember why this company is worth saving. She walks away, her heels clicking on the marble, leaving him alone with a folder full of second chances. The weekend passes in a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and phone calls. By Monday morning, the changes are official. The corrupt board members have resigned. The implicated executives have been terminated. The company's accounts have been frozen and audited. The police are investigating. The newspapers are in a frenzy. Billionaire's daughter returns to claim empire. Undercover boss, Nigerian, heiress exposes corruption. From beggar to boss, the ultimate revenge. Nora doesn't read them. She's too busy rebuilding. She walks through the offices of UK4 Industries on Monday morning, and people scramble to their feet as she passes. Some from respect, some from fear. She doesn't care which. Both are better than being laughed at. Emeka walks beside her, wearing a new suit, his security badge updated with his new title. He's still getting used to people calling him sir, still flinching slightly when executives nod at him with deference. You'll get used to it, Nora tells him. Will I? Eventually, or you'll learn to fake it, which is almost the same thing. They reach the lobby, the same lobby where he used to mop floors. The new security team snaps to attention as they pass. Through the glass doors, Nora can see the street where it all began, where she stood in her disguise and let them show her who they really were. Do you regret it? Emeka asks. The test, what you had to endure. She considers this. Sometimes the only way to find the truth is to let people think you can't hurt them. That's when they show you their real face. She glances at him. My father used to say that power doesn't corrupt people. It just reveals what was always there. He was right. They stand together at the window, looking out at the city. Somewhere out there, Toby and Chuka are packing their offices. Their fall from grace already gossip in 1,000 WhatsApp groups. Somewhere out there, Mrs. Benke is learning to keep her mouth shut. Somewhere out there, the next generation of rich boys is learning that maybe, just maybe, kindness is smarter than cruelty. What happens now? Emeka asks. Now? Nora smiles. Now we build something my father would be proud of. A company where people are measured by their character, not their last names. Where integrity means something. Where the person at the gate is just as valuable as the person in the corner office. Is that possible? We're going to find out. 3 months later, Nora drives herself to work. She could have a driver. She has 3 on staff, but sometimes she likes the quiet of being alone in her car, the radio playing softly, the city waking up around her. She takes the long route, the one that passes through the marketplace. Mrs. Banky is at her usual spot, arranging tomatoes in perfect pyramids. She looks up as the expensive car slows, and her face freezes when she recognizes the woman behind the wheel. The woman she called a prostitute, a thief, a fraud. The woman whose name is now on the side of the tallest building in the district. Nora meets her eyes through the window. She doesn't smile. She doesn't frown. She just looks at her, letting the moment stretch, letting Mrs. Banky feel the full weight of her mistake. Then she drives on. At the next intersection, a young woman stands on the corner with a tray of plantain chips, calling out to passing cars. She's wearing a faded dress, her feet dusty from the street, her voice hoarse from hawking all morning. Nora rolls down her window. How much for the bag? The girl rushes over, hope lighting up her tired face. 200 naira, ma. Nora hands her 5,000. Keep the change, and here, she pulls out a business card, writes something on the back. If you're looking for work, real work, call this number. Ask for Mr. Emeka. Tell him Nora sent you. The girl stares at the money, at the card, at Nora's face. Thank you. God bless you, ma. God already did, Nora says quietly. Now I'm just passing it on. She drives away, leaving the girl standing on the corner, clutching a card that might change her life, just as one moment of cruelty almost changed Nora's. At the office, there's a new painting in the lobby. It's of her father, Chief Gabriel Okafor, standing in front of the building he built. But it's not one of those stiff, formal portraits. In this one, he's smiling, his hand extended toward the viewer, as if welcoming them in. Nora stops in front of it every morning. This morning, she places her hand against the frame, feeling the cool glass beneath her palm. I did it, Papa, she whispers. I saved your company. I kept your legacy alive. And I did it your way, with dignity, with honor, with justice instead of revenge. She thinks of Toby and Chuka, now facing fraud charges, their futures uncertain. She could have destroyed them completely. She could have made them suffer the way they made her suffer, the way they made Emeka suffer. But her father taught her better than that. Revenge is easy, he used to say. Justice is hard. But only justice lets you sleep at night. She sleeps fine now. Emeka appears beside her, 2 cups of coffee in his hands. He offers her one without speaking. They've fallen into this routine. Morning coffee in front of her father's portrait. 5 minutes of silence before the day's chaos begins. The new recruits start today, he says finally. 20 security guards, 15 office staff, 10 managers, all hired based on merit, not connections. How many of them came from nothing? Most of them. Good. They'll remember what it cost them to get here. They'll be careful with what they've been given. She sips her coffee. Did you follow up on that girl from the market? She called yesterday. I scheduled her for an interview next week. Receptionist position. And if she's qualified? Then she's hired. Nora nods, satisfied. This is how you change things. Not with grand gestures or charity galas, but with one person at a time, one opportunity at a time, one moment of choosing kindness over cruelty. The city stretches outside the windows. Millions of people moving through their lives, most of them convinced they know how the world works, who has power and who doesn't, who matters and who can be ignored. They're all wrong, and they don't even know it yet. Because power isn't about money or position or fancy offices. Power is about knowing exactly who you are, what you're capable of, and never needing to beg anyone to see it. Power is standing in front of people who mock you and saying quietly, "I will never beg again," and meaning it. Power is walking away with your dignity intact, knowing that time and truth are on your side. Power is returning not with angers or violence, but with elegant, undeniable proof that they should have been kinder. Nora finishes her coffee and sets the cup down. Come on, we have work to do. They move through the lobby together, past the portrait, past the security desk, where Emeka once stood on the other side, past the glass doors that once seemed like an insurmountable barrier between inside and outside, power and powerlessness, seen and invisible. But those distinctions were always illusions. She knows that now. Everyone is one moment, one choice, one test away from revealing exactly who they are. The question isn't whether you have power. The question is what you do with it when you think no one's watching. And the answer to that question determines everything. Nora steps out into the morning sun, ready to build something worthy of her father's name, something that will outlast her own life, something that will make the next generation of rich boys think twice before laughing at someone they think is beneath them. Because they laughed when she said she'd never beg again. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't have known, was that destiny had already written her comeback. And destiny always has the last word. If this story moved you, tell me in the comments. Who impressed you more? Nora for choosing justice over revenge, or Emeka for standing up when it cost him everything? Which line hit you the hardest, and what would you have done at that gate if you were there that day? I read every comment. If you'd like to help me make more powerful African stories like this, you can tap Super Thanks anytime. Every little bit helps me keep these films coming. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with one friend who needs the reminder. Never underestimate a woman. I'll be in the comments. Drop your take below and where you're watching from.